What's good? What's good? What's good? Scrutinize this family. So, I want to say maybe about a year ago or something like that, a few months ago, I reported to you guys about Miss Elizabeth Cambage here because there was an altercation that she had with Coach Miller of the Connecticut Sun at the time. And they had an altercation where she was triggered, got in her feelings, and got this man suspended one game and had to pay a fine of $10,000 because Miss Cambage here was in her feelings. But let's just have this little recap, bring your mind up to speed so you'll remember what I'm talking about.
It went down in today's game, and I need to speak on it because if there's one thing about me is that I will never let a man disrespect me. Ever, especially a little white one. So to the coach of Connecticut, I'm sorry, little sir man, I do not know your name.
Lie.
But the next time you try to call out a referee, trying to get a call being like, come on, she's 300 pounds. I'm gonna need you to get right, baby, because I'm 6'8". I just double checked because I love to be correct and get facts. I'm weighing 235 pounds and I'm very proud of being a big bitch. No, you believe it. Body, Big Ben's baby. So don't ever try to disrespect me or another woman in the league. I don't know if that's how coaches run. You try to disrespect women like that from the sideline. And you so lucky it was during a game.
You so proud, but you on this internet hurt.
That whole part, you were so lucky that I was doing my job.
Masculine.
So anyway, to that little man, whole little, tiny, where is you?
Well, if that's the case, can somebody remind me why we're here again?
Stop trying to project your insecurities, baby. Pick up the phone, call the psych, because you projecting some bullshit right now. And next time you try to disrespect me, remember, I'm 235. It might seem like 300 pounds to your little ass.
Somebody in their feelings
I'm
hurt.
235, baby. Oh, I do have to say one more thing. I think there's a big difference between players and players, talking shit on the court. But for a coach for another team to be yelling, protected abuse, because we can't do nothing back.
It's called competition,
it's just
but you're weak mentally,
me.
and that's the problem. It is funny out here. And what's amazing to me is that when I did that report, that video some time ago, I entitled it to where the focus was locked in on quote unquote protected abuse, as Liz Cambage wanted to say. And it's funny to me, she cited a lot of things, in particular, therapeutic help and mental health and psych this and psych that. And, she's got so much to prescribe and diagnose and instructions and advice for Coach Miller here, and what he needs to do. But this is the individual who has literally been the most toxic player spanning the NBA and WNBA, one of the most toxic players I've ever seen. And I'm talking about from start to finish. And I'm leading up, I'm getting somewhere here. But it's funny to me that she can be triggered over something that allegedly happened during the game, where her team, she was with the Las Vegas Aces at the time, and they were going up against the Sun, and something was allegedly said to the effect of, "Oh, come on, ref, she's like 300 pounds." Do you really go and take that overboard to the point of somebody being suspended from a game and fined $10,000 because this broad gets on the internet and throws a hissy fit and complains, and then on top of it made racial comments toward this man, talked about how little he was compared to her, because of course if he's 5 foot plus and she's 6'8", and 235 pounds allegedly, she says, yeah, you already know that you are much bigger than this guy, and so now all this masculinity comes out of you because that's what you want to do anyway. You want to dominate, you want to make threats, you want to talk about how you were in the circle of your profession, but if you were outside the squared circle of your profession, or the rectangular circle, however you would put it, if you was off that basketball court, you give this impression that it would be something else, that you'd be ready to what, throw hands with Coach Miller? Because I'm pretty sure Coach Miller is allegedly a part of the alphabet group, but I'm sure he could tap into his man parts, and if he really, really wanted to go in, he could do some things to take you down that'll have you going from talking all this smack to crying victim, and the police and pressing charges and the lawyers and everything else. And that's the issue with these women, man. They got so much to say with their mouths. It's just, they know that they have to tap into their little sister archetype, because they ain't about to put hands on nobody. So they have to give a bunch of idle threats about what they would do to you and how they would get you together. I'm gonna get you together and blah 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 blah. Man, look, y'all run y'all mouth too much because you have protected abuse. You are entitled, and you have your feminist privilege, and you try to flip it when convenient. And it's just ridiculous. So I wanted to call a bunch of those things out to kind of recap what I talked about before with the whole quote unquote protected abuse thing. I don't understand how protected Coach Miller would be, or any of the coaches of the WNBA would be, when you got this man that suspended a game and fined $10,000 because you could not handle the back and forth between, the lines of competition. And then she made the remark talking about how players can do that back and forth, but it should be a line drawn when coaches do it. Look, everybody's competing. The coaches are the one coming up with the strategy, so it's going to be competition. And if he's talking directly to the referees, and they're saying, man, come on, ref, another foul? You call it another foul? She like 300 pounds. Well, Shaq heard worse than that. So did Shaq cry? Did Shaq, boo-hoo and allege this and allege that?
Touch him up, America!
And that's why don't nobody take the WNBA seriously. You're mad that women themselves are not watching the mess, so then you blame everything on men. We're not to blame, because the very women that you are supposed to be so kudos with and kumbaya with, them mugs watching LeBron dunk the basketball, and Giannis Antetokounmpo dunk the basketball, and Steph Curry knock down these 3-pointers. They not worried about y'all, and y'all upset, and so y'all have to throw your accusations so many different places, but the right place, because you cannot be accountable, and you're definitely not self-aware. But that's about all I wanted to say about that thus far, and I want to lead up to a point here. So I want you guys to pay attention to this career map for Liz Cambage. She was drafted number 2 overall by the Tulsa Shock. She has these stints over in China, come back to the Tulsa Shock. Eventually she ends up being a part of the Dallas Wings. Then she's got these stints where she's going to China, she's playing, for a home Olympic team, all this different stuff. Then she finds herself on the Las Vegas Aces, and ultimately she comes to the end of the road with the Los Angeles Sparks. I'm pointing all this out to just point out just the short stints, these places she's been, and been there only a year. She didn't even want to play for the Shock, even though Tulsa drafted her. She gave up on that team. Then she eventually tapped out in Dallas, and then her stint in Las Vegas. She got tired of that, and then ultimately she comes this season. And though I don't really blame her a lot for a lot of the foolishness from the firing of Derek Fisher, all the foolishness in the front office, I watched the game this year, which was a really good game. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings watching this game, and I didn't even want to leave till I finished it, because I kept saying the whole game, the Sparks are going to lose, they're going to lose, they're going to lose. They were about like 20 something points, and the New York Liberty, man, led by their point guard, their star point guard, they came all the way back. At this time, Liz is gone. You just got the Guma sisters. Only one of them was playing. It was just all kind of foolishness going on. And I'm just saying to myself, I could see why Liz did not want to be on this team. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, you can't quit everything. You can't just throw in the towel. You can't leave um, that type of paper trail. And at this point, with her, saying that she wanted to do the OnlyFans and all that different stuff, there's been so much stuff that has been more of a focus for Liz off the court than on the court. And it just seems as though there's some toxicity there, and there's a lack of focus on what her craft should be. Or does she love the game anymore? Do you care more? Are you really making more money off the court with the OnlyFans or something? Let it be known what it is, because you can tell when a player does not love the game, and it seems that she does not love the game. And so, continuing with the four-time All-Star, this is what she released over her Instagram in a post that read, "Playing for the Sparks was a dream come true, and I'm honored to have shared the court with such amazing ladies for as long as we did. I'm sorry to have left abruptly, and I wish it would have ended on a different note. I've decided to step away from the league for the time being, and I'm hopeful that the WNBA will do their part in creating safer environments and a stronger support system for their players. While I'll miss rocking the purple and gold, I'll be taking this time to focus on my healing and personal growth before providing clarification on past rumors. Thank you to all my supporters, family, and friends for all the love and light you continue to surround me with." Now, I'm going to tell you something. Something that we tend to have an issue with as we watch Miss Elizabeth Cambage here putting on for her OnlyFans. Boy, I'm going to tell you something. She a tall glass of water, ain't she? But at the end of the day, she had a moment there and an opportunity, like most women, most people, but especially most women today, who seem to act as if accountability is their kryptonite. They start out appearing that they're going to be forthright and accountable, only to pass the buck, which is what she did in what to me is one of the most sorry apologies, one of the most pathetic apologies and send-offs that I've ever seen or read. So here you have Lady Cambage here. She trying to make that money, y'all. Bad, bad. Yeah, so as we continue to watch Miss Elizabeth Cambage here promote her brand for OnlyFans, she's had quite a share of her toxic ups and downs, and so maybe that's exactly what she needs, is a moment from the game, as her last biggest issue before the stint with the Sparks was the alleged outbreak of violence because of her racial slurs toward the Nigerian team. But we up out of here, baby. Elizabeth Cambage, you a fool. We ain't got time to play with you though. We up out of here, baby.